Alright guys, so today we are going to talk about Hillary and Steven Crowder's marital drama, even though it is literally none of our business. But because it's now public, and I want to be at least a bipartisan, equal sides representation voice, we're going to talk about it anyway, because it's the internet and that's what we get to do. We live in a day and an age where no one is entitled to privacy because literally everything is being recorded whether we realize it or not. That's the downside to social media, is that you don't know when you're going to be recorded or who can possibly use it against you. For those of you who have been paying attention to the conservative side of Drama Central, Steven Crowder recently had a whole video, 3 minutes long, released from his security Ring doorbell footage of him and his wife getting into an altercation on their back patio, and everyone's going off on Steven about how un-Christian-like he's being and how terrible and how awful he is and how, oh, his pregnant wife is so miserable and we stand with her and she should get out of this abusive relationship ASAP. Are we really so stupid that we are going to, number one, get involved in this man's personal life and jump to conclusions, and then number two, why is this anybody's business at all in the first place? But let's talk about that. Now, it's fair to say that Steven Crowder is probably one of the biggest conservative podcast talk show influencers that have ever existed. Quite frankly, he was one of the people that I looked up to growing up when it came to the people who were trying to at least attempt to find the truth. Now, does somebody like Steven Crowder, is he entitled to privacy in his own home? I would think so, but obviously that is not the case in recent events, or should I say in the past 2 years of events, because a very personal and private argument of him and his wife got released. Now, I think it's fair to assume, right, that his wife was the one who ended up leaking the Ring doorbell footage to the press, because I can't really imagine that Steven would do that on his own. I'm going to be completely bipartisan in this because I have absolutely no dog in the fight. I am not on Steven's side. I'm not on Hillary's side. I am not partnered with the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, none of them. Everything that you guys see here has all been paid for by Princess Parties by Savannah and my parents' credit card. But anyway, Jeremy's chocolate, she, her, because I'm a woman, and we're going to do a test taste for y'all today. So, my first time trying this. This is a nutless, because women do not have that. It's very interesting. I don't dislike it, but I would definitely consider myself a chocolate connoisseur. And this is he, him. It has, oh gosh, it actually does have nuts in it. Okay. They taste exactly the same, except this one has, are these almonds? Almonds? I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The only nuts that I really like are the sugar-coated ones from Buc-ee's. But anyway, don't forget to follow, like, comment y'all's favorite chocolate brand down below. And if you guys have ever heard of Buc-ee's before, don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe so you guys can stay updated on all these shows. I think this one better.
Do we have to hear you chomp?
I hate slapping your lips.
You're like,
this is really none of our business. Marriages have fights, and I honestly don't think that this one is any different, and I also don't think that it's any of our businesses. If you guys are being truthfully honest with me right now, can you, honest to God, say that you have never had a fight with a significant other, a spouse, a friend, a coworker, or relationship that probably didn't paint you in the best of lights? But she's pregnant? Okay, that's fine. It looked like he was outside though smoking the cigar and she followed him out there. And even if she was pregnant, does that honestly mean that we are not allowed to have fights with our spouses just because there's a baby inside of a woman's stomach? In fact, I've personally never been pregnant, but from what I can attest to my friends and family that have been pregnant, usually when you bring a baby into the picture, stress, tension, and marital problems, whatever was previously going on, usually manifests itself into better or worse situations based on what was happening prior. For those of you guys out there who are visual learners, let's just watch some clips of this video and let y'all be the judge, even though none of us should be judging this in the first place. Here we go.
I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries. Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man respect other man? You are not.
then I will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Steven.
Give it an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Okay, so everyone was jumping to conclusions about the fact that he was telling her that you are not allowed to take the car. Do we know why? It could be for a plethora of different reasons. Maybe her car is in the shop and he needs his car to get to work. Maybe he doesn't want her driving because she's 8 months pregnant, and pregnant women behind a seat, if there were to be an accident, that airbag could either absolutely harm your unborn child or just flat out kill it in the first place. She also is 8 months pregnant, so maybe he doesn't want her going out there in the world, because remember, this video was going on in 2021. COVID still was a huge thing in the world, and older people and pregnant people were suggested to stay away from everyone else for fear of risk of getting COVID and getting sick and hurting your unborn child, or if you were older, your already failing immune system. So let's not harp on that. That just seems like a normal marital fight. And then again, on the total flip side, maybe he is absolutely just being a jerkwad, and he really is trying to lock his wife in his house and be an absolute controlling husband. We don't know. We're not married to either of these people. It's really none of our business. Moving on.
The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven.
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven. Steven?
You give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay?
Side note to all of this. At this point in the video, she definitely sounds like she's about to start crying. He definitely sounds like he is mentally at his wit's end. They both are in an emotional and very vulnerable place. Giving my personal opinion in here for a second, it sounds like he can't go out and do anything because the world literally shut down and locked everybody in their homes. She sounds like she wants to get out and leave, but he, honestly, from this 30-second clip that we can only judge off of what we know in this said moment, he doesn't want her to leave because, in my personal opinion, it sounds like he's being really emotionally attached and probably very lonely. He said it himself, he can't go to the gym, he can't see his friends, and he doesn't want her to leave, and he wants her to be there with him. But then at the same time, I can tell you, if I was around my boyfriend 24/7 all the time, locked in a house with him, he would drive me bonkers too, and I would probably want to go get in the car and drive out to the barn and go be with my horses and go ride for a little bit. So I understand both sides of this argument, but then again, they're in an argument. We can only judge this 3-minute video. We have no idea what happened in the house before or what happened after. It's not our business again. Anyway, moving on.
I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you, and the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no, but I love you more than life itself. Okay, put on some gloves. No, but I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous.
I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not trying to.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything.
Okay, so this section definitely sounds like they're referring to a previous argument. Something about gloves, something about an impasse, something about them not being committed to each other, and the only way that they're gonna be able to fix it is with discipline and respect. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that definitely sounds like marriage counseling if I've ever heard anything about that. And in this one instance, I mean, he curses and she says that she's committed to him, but she won't do the things that physically say that she's committed to him, and then he says that he doesn't love her because she doesn't show him love in return. Obviously, things were said in an argument in the heat of the moment that they probably end up not meaning later. We all do that. But it's what we do after that matters, and that's the part that we physically cannot see in this. So who are we to judge this argument? Me personally, I have had arguments with my boyfriend who, if it was recorded and published online, it would make me out to look like an awful person, and it would probably make him look to be an awful person. But the thing is that we worked through it, and that we aren't actually awful, terrible people. We're just people who are arguing and who disagree. That's called being human, and that's okay if you fix it afterwards, because it's what you do after that matters.
You just said I love you. I'm committed to it. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
So the video ends with Crowder saying, please put on the gloves and walk the dogs. And then on this video in particular, it says, in parentheses, he got even angrier and then said, I will F you up at his pregnant wife, and then flees their home. We can't see that. There's not a video of that. There is no audio of that. We have no idea. That is purely speculation at best. But then again, at the end of the day, why is this a discussion that people are having? It is a private marital argument between a man and his wife. We have absolutely no business giving our input in this. And I'm going to try to be as bipartisan as I can. It sounds like he is very emotionally stressed and vulnerable, and he wants what I would definitely consider as an act of service kind of love, and she probably, from what I could hear, sounds more like she is more of a words of affirmation type of love. They both want something, and they're not getting it from the other person, therefore, ergo, this argument in the first place. But I could be absolutely completely wrong, because I have no idea who these people are personally on a very intimate and personal connection, because I'm not married to either of them. Maybe Hillary is an absolute witchy woman who's a terrible wife and just an awful person to live with. Like my boyfriend would say, maybe it's that drip, drip, drip that's just driving you insane. And on the flip side, maybe Crowder really is this controlling douchebag of a husband who is an absolute abusive, manipulative man, and she should divorce him. We don't know! Stop jumping to conclusions about people's personal marital lives that have nothing to do with us. To all of the other conservative political commentators out there who have been giving their 2 cents and speculating on this, can y'all please just stop? Like the Daily Wire Kansas, like I love y'all, but seriously, this is absolutely none of our business. This is a personal, intimate, marital relationship argument that we only know 3 minutes and 27 seconds of. You have no idea what's been going on since the moment that they met and the moment that they got married and up until this exact moment right now, which by the way is May 1st. We're publishing this Friday, so if something comes out that like is absolutely mind-blowing and maybe she's actually crazy or he's actually crazy or maybe they're both crazy, I'm sorry, but we recorded this May 1st. This is now my opinion time. Just to clarify, this is Savvy's time. Watching this video and looking at all of this, it reminds me of a certain court case battle that happened recently between one Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Remember when everybody was on Amber Heard's side when all of it first came out and everyone was, I stand with her, support the victim, like, Johnny Depp got kicked off of the Fantastic Beasts and the Pirates of the Caribbean movies premiere series and trilogies. Like, his life got over because everyone jumped to conclusions. This could be a similar situation. I don't know. Maybe he is the absolute a-hole. I don't know. But I'm also going to say, again, personal opinion on this. The way she was acting and talking in that video sounded an awful lot like Amber Heard, who we all now acknowledge was a complete liar and a narcissist and totally fabricated the whole thing to make Johnny Depp look bad because everyone will support a woman and diss the straight white man. But again, that's just my opinion. But also, could all the conservatives stop infighting with each other over this? There are literally way more important things in this world to be worrying about than the marital issues being worked through by political commentators. I wouldn't pay attention to this if it was a Democrat. So obviously, I'm really trying not to pay attention to this since it's a conservative. There are better fish to fry out there, like how we have a literal dementia patient as commander-in-chief. One thing that the internet is absolutely fantastic at is jumping to conclusions.
Jump to conclusions, Matt. You see, it would be this mat that you would put on the floor and would have different conclusions written on it that you could jump to.
Listen, I highly suggest that we all pick the logs out of our own eyes before we go and pick the twigs and the specks in Stephen and Hillary Crowder's marital issues life. Because if I'm being completely honest with all of you guys, you all have verbal fist fights with each other And that is okay because it's how you act after it that matters in the long run.